Hello, it is Dustin with All Kinds of Weather, and I'm here today for another In All Kinds of Weather forecaster model update. Yes, it is the time. So I hope each and every one of you had an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope you had some good. Now it is time for rivalry week in college football. And what does that mean? That means the stakes are higher than ever. We have some of the biggest games of the year this weekend. So you definitely want to pay attention to this week's model update with the In All Kinds of Weather forecaster. And so, first things first, we're going to get into our top 25. Yes, Florida is in the top 30. They come in at 29. I believe if they had Graham Mertz or they had won the football game this past Saturday, they would be somewhere in that 23 to 25 range. Unfortunately, Graham Mertz gets hurt. Unfortunately, they do not pull out the victory. So they have fallen just a little bit. Anyhow, let's go ahead and look at our top 25. Coming in at number 25 is SMU. At number 24, we have Louisville. At number 23, we have a team that continues to show that they could play with some of the best teams in the country. We have the number 23 Arizona Wildcats. At 22, we have Miami. At 21, we have Tennessee. 20, North Carolina. Number 19 in the nation. They have continued to fall. Earlier in the year, they were a top 10 team. They are not playing like a top 10 team, especially on defense. They have continued to lose. And so we have at 19, USC. So we're going to continue to move on. Number 18, we have Missouri. 17, we have Clemson. 16, we have Oregon State. 15, they continue to stay at 15, Texas A&M, another team that is continuing to be consistent with their ranking in All Kinds of Weather forecaster power ranking is Ole Miss. They come in at 14. Number 13, we have Kansas State. 12 is Florida State. They drop down, based on my numbers, they drop down 3.6 spots. Let me give you some inside information on the model. The model looks at Jordan Travis straight up being worth 4 points. So they dropped 3.6 points. If Jordan Travis was still on the team for FSU, then they would have actually increased 0.4 points from this past week. And that definitely plays a role in the prediction for the Florida State game. So that's just a little bit of inside information. It's pretty obvious when you look at the number that you see on your screen. That's kind of what we're looking at for that. At 11, we have Washington, who has not been super impressive as of recent, but they continue to show improvement on the field and in the advanced stats, and that is why these numbers reflect that. At number 10, we have Notre Dame. We're going to keep it going into the top 9. These are all very familiar teams. At number 9, we have Oklahoma. At number 8, we have Texas. At number 7, we have LSU. 6, Penn State, who has arguably the best defense in the country. Number 5 has Alabama, a team that is on a tear, a team that will face Georgia in the SEC championship game. Number 4, we have Oregon continuing to do well in the advanced stats. Dan Lanning is doing a phenomenal job up in the state of Oregon. Number 3, we have Georgia. 2, Ohio State, and 1, Michigan. Of course, the number 1 team and the number 2 team in All Kinds of Weather forecaster power rating are playing each other this weekend. This has never happened before for the entirety of our power ranking, okay? Now, the curious thing is, could something happen and it be a number 1 Georgia versus a number 2 Alabama team on the following weekend for the SEC championship game? I doubt it. I don't think I don't think Alabama or Georgia have the opportunity to go up that far. Now, if they just have incredible game this week, it may bring up their averages a little bit, but it shall be seen what happens with that matchup. So real quick, I want to give you a 14-1 SEC coming in at 14. We have Vanderbilt. 13, we have Mississippi State, who, upon the recording of this episode, just lost to Ole Miss in the Egg Bowl by 10 points. So, man, we shall see what takes place in the rest of the games starting today. We want to get this video out as soon as possible, so we'll do that. We're going to continue down this list. At number 12, we have Kentucky. Number 11 is Arkansas. 10 is South Carolina, who has a big-time matchup with Clemson this week. We have 9, Auburn, who plays Alabama in the Iron Bowl. Florida comes in at 8. 7 is Tennessee. At number 6, we have coming in with Missouri. 5 is Texas A&M. They've been consistently in that area, even with the firing of Jimbo Fisher. 4, we have Ole Miss. 3, we have LSU. And then we have, at the very top, our SEC championship teams. We have number 2, Alabama, and number 1, Georgia. Now, just a sneak preview, Georgia's power rating index is 27.9, and Alabama's power rating index is 24.7. So on a neutral field, according to this, Georgia would be favored by 3 points against Alabama. So that's kind of a sneak preview of what to expect next week. Now, of course, games still need to be played this week. There's a couple other factors that come into the final game prediction, but we'll get into that. Speaking of game predictions, it is time to quickly go through the games of the week. This is where the model makes its money, predicting the spread and predicting the outcome of football games. The model has continued to do exceptionally at picking the right teams. It is on average picking the right team at a clip of 85% in terms of our games of the week. If you expand that out and look at all 65 games, the model is picking at a clip of 71%. That is a big deal against the spread. If you look at all games throughout the season, the model is looking at a 54% pick. But if you exclusively look at the games of the week, it is at a 64% clip. And that is exciting that the model is picking games at that clip. And it's very rewarding, should I say, to really pay attention to what we're about to talk about next. But I digress. I'm gonna stop stalling and let's get right to it. So we're gonna start out with Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Obviously, this game has been played. The model liked Ole Miss by just 9 points, and Ole Miss actually won by 10 points. So the model did pretty good on this one. Again, I've not changed this. I've not adjusted that. The guys at the In All Kinds of Weather on the In All Kinds of Weather team can vouch for that. I've not made any adjustments to these numbers. This is what we came into the week with. I'm just putting out this video right now because of all the holiday festivities and the games that are upcoming. So let's move on to games that are being played today. We have Missouri at Arkansas. This is going to be closer than the experts think. The model likes Missouri by just 2 points. Now we have Texas Tech at Texas. The model likes Texas by 17 points. We have Oregon State at Oregon. The model expects Oregon to roll by 18 points. Now we're coming on our game of the week. The game of the year in in the opinion of the model, considering you have the number 1 and the number 2 team, respectively, pretty much the entire season in all kinds of weather forecaster power rating. And so right now you have Ohio State at Michigan. Okay, these two teams are neck and neck in their power rating. Ohio State is 28.0 in their power rating. Michigan is 28.3 in their power rating. That is very, very close. But with the home field advantage, Michigan has a 5-point edge in that game by the score of 28-23. It is going to be an instant classic of a game. Now, these teams would be nearly even on a neutral field. However, because of the location being in Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan has the slight edge. And actually, by picking Michigan in this way, you would actually be picking Michigan to cover the 3.5 points that are currently laid up for Michigan in this matchup. All right, continuing to go down the list, we have Texas A&M at LSU. The model expects LSU to score a ton of points in this game. In fact, we are picking the over, and so we expect Texas A&M to lose to LSU. We expect LSU to win by 13 points in that matchup. And then next we have Arizona at Arizona State, and we expect Arizona to win, but just be under the line of 12.5. We expect Arizona to win by 12 points, but that is super close to what that line is. So if it goes a little over that line, we would not be surprised. Of course, we'd be a little disappointed because it will go down as an L for the model, but that game is going to be interesting that we'll be watching out for on Saturday. We have Washington State at Washington. The model likes Washington to roll by 17 points. Again, this is one of the model expectation that is super close to the line. The line right now that we have is 16.5. The model likes Washington by 17, so that is, of course, incredibly close. Okay, I'm stalling. So now, very quickly, we're going to go ahead and look at a matchup that we are all excited about, and that is, of course, the North Carolina at NC State matchup. We like North Carolina by 3 points, and it should be a thrilling game to watch. Okay, now we are here. It is the game of the week for the Florida Gators, not nationally, but for the Florida Gators. It is, of course, Florida's matchup with Florida State, the Noles. Both Florida and Florida State are missing their starting quarterbacks. We know Jordan Travis, considered to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. However, Graham Mertz has similar stats to him. The only reason why Graham Mertz is not being touted in the same stratosphere as Jordan Travis, well, number one, Graham Mertz hasn't ran the ball as effectively. But number two, Florida State's just winning more games. What does that mean? It means that Florida State is a good team, not just a good quarterback. And for that reason, the model actually likes Florida State by just a little bit in this matchup with the Gators. The model is predicting Florida State wins even without their starting quarterback by a score of 30-28. In the Swamp, in arguably the toughest environment to play in the country. Okay, the model looks at each and every home field advantage very specifically, and it spits out a number based on that. So if you look at the power ranking, Florida State is power ranked ahead of Florida by about 10 points. On a neutral field, the line, according to the model, would be around 10 points. And so to go from that to only being favored by 2 points in a certain stadium, that means a lot. The model doesn't think it's going to be enough. But, and this is where it gets exciting. So the model gives Florida a 45.2% chance to win. And that is basically a coin flip. 45.2% versus 50%. So for that reason, my prediction is going to differ just a little bit. I think Florida gets an extra field goal in this game and wins by the score that they should have beat Missouri by. Florida wins 31-30. The model is predicting Florida to come out as the loser in this game by the score of 30-28. I hope the model is wrong. If Florida pulled out the game, the model would actually get the spread right, because the model has the spread at 2, and the spread that we locked this in with was 6.5 for Florida State. So this is that would certainly be a win for the model if Florida was to pull it out in that regard. So it's exciting. It's interesting. You know how much we love the In All Kinds of Weather forecaster, power ratings, predictions. It's going to be a wild Friday and Saturday of college football. You don't want to miss out on the games coming up. If you have any disagreements with any of the ratings, with any of the predictions, drop your prediction, drop your power rating, drop your resume ratings. We don't do that, but apparently people are interested in that too. So if you want to rank all 25 teams based on how you see them, do that below. That's not what we do around here. We try to stay unbiased. We're just looking at the numbers. We're crunching them. We have an 11-page Excel spreadsheet that calculates the top 25, that calculates every game, every week. Once again, my name is Dustin. From all of us and All Kinds of Weather, we hope you had an amazing Thanksgiving. We hope you enjoy this Saturday's and this Friday's football games. Go Gators.